Take It With The Programming. I'm Chase Ingram.
I'm Captain America.
Along with me is Bill Grundler.
Wolverine.
Thank you, four friends, for hanging out. Thank you.
I don't even know why we decided to go live. Well, we had planned to go live already.
You can't. 780 people right now? Shit.
If you guys are watching the Savant podcast, they are doing a breaking news show of the Ellie Turner decision and Dave Castro coming on to remove Andrew Hiller from the CrossFit Games season. Which, all right, here's the best part. 100% should do it. Like, Andrew Hiller is actively taking steroids. He should not be allowed to compete. He even says that. He did it to see what they would do.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. It would be a much worse look if CrossFit just let him go. Like, and I think he hoped they would, so he could have something like, guys, I've been doing this for years. You're going to let me compete, right? So I feel like there's twofold here. One, I see no downside because you're either in Team Hiller and you thought it was funny that he tried to sign up, and you're glad that CrossFit stepped in and did what they are supposed to do with people who are taking performance-enhancing drugs. Two, you hate Hiller, and you're glad to see him gone.
Yeah, totally.
There's no downside there.
Dude, okay. But the way it was...
I'm not saying
there are a couple. Should he be removed? 100%. I mean,
yeah,
100%.
Yeah.
In fact, when he went to do it, when he was first talking about wanting to do it, he's like, yeah, I know I'm not going to be able to compete. I know that won't happen. So that's all fine. I think that the way that I think it was funny the way that Dave did it, where it was like this very, because he was taking performance enhancing drugs, we will not tolerate that, and we will not tolerate, and like those kind of words. It's like I would have been laughing and been like, bro, no, you're not in. Sorry. Yeah. Sorry, we're not going to take it. But here's the downside is whether Hiller said that he was taking it or not, I don't think that an organization can effectively ban anybody, remove from, and this is the distinction they need to do. He was removed from the Open and the further competitions, but they didn't say anything about a ban. So technically, if that's the case, here's what I would do as an athlete, because here's the loophole. If they don't do it the way they're supposed to do, which is test you, then convict you, and then have your test, and then make the ban. Because I can go, oh, you know what? Yeah, I've been taking steroids this up to this point. They're like, oh, we haven't tested you, but you said it, so you're removed this year. Okay, fine. So I'll cycle off, and all that strength and everything that I got, it will carry me into the next year. So that helps you cycle off depending on what you're doing. So they need to do the right thing and officially test them. You can't just go off of, well, you said you were taking drugs, so we're going to go ahead and ban you. Test them.
Interesting. I didn't even think about that.
Right? That's the loophole. They said you were removed from the Open and the further competitions of this year. They didn't say anything about a ban. And I actually was trying to get Sev on, and I don't know if they did because we just came off, but I was posting that in there a bunch of times. Thanks, Kelly. That's really cool of you. But posting in there a bunch of times like, hey, what's the ban? What's the ban time? What's the ban? Because, if you have stuff in there and you say, well, I wasn't taking it, but I got mixed in, it's like, okay, well, maybe we'll do a 2-year ban. They'll have those distinctions.
Right.
But they haven't done anything. They're just saying that you're removed from this year. So now what happens?
Well, there's also in the clause in the rule book that CrossFit reserves the right to make any decision they deem that they want to.
I know. I know those catch-all things. Come on.
Hey, listen, if we're just rolling out facts and information and not
100%,
taking sides.
100%.
Although we do take the side is that if Hiller is actively taking steroids, he should be removed from competition.
Oh, no, I'm not disagreeing with that. Well, yeah, I'm not disagreeing with that at all. I'm not disagreeing with that at all. I think that it is funny that it's like this official thing that's out there. I don't know. I just thought it was silly. And the way it was done. I just think the way it was done, it was fun. Like with all the stuff that Dave has laughed at, why couldn't Dave laugh? But I was like, no, fuck no, we're not going to have him compete. Like, where was that? Dave? I wanted that Dave.
True.
I
just like he was wearing his new olive oil shirt.
Yeah, totally.
Promote on his Dave Castro Mercantile.
He's smart. I think I always thought that was the weirdest word, mercantile.
It reminds me of Up Schitt's Creek. Do you remember that? Did you ever watch that sitcom?
Are you kidding me? That's my girlfriend's favorite show. If she needs something mellow, she goes to Schitt's Creek. Dude, that's her go-to.
My wife forced me into watching that a couple years ago. And the first 3 episodes, I was like,
What the
I'm
fuck?
out.
Yep.
I hate this. I hate every character in here. I hate the mom. I hate the daughter. Like, I just hate these people. They're just so selfish and disassociated from the world. And then I was like, all right, I'll give it a shot. And it was one of my most favorite sitcoms episode like I've ever watched. Like
It is totally.
the
You just got to get into the
character
character.
arcs and I
Yep.
was like, oh, I'm glad I gave it a shot because I was totally wrong. It was like it was just a big setup, right? Just a huge setup of dislike. So you almost like got more invested into your dislike or attention of these characters, and then how they evolved over the seasons. It was, yeah,
Yeah.
I
No,
was
I
pleasantly
agree.
surprised.
It's such a fun. Like every time I hear that, I crack up because that's her go-to. And same thing. Like I'd watch it with her, and I'm like, you gotta be fucking kidding me. And then all of a
Yeah.
sudden you're like, oh man, why is he doing this? Why is she doing? I can't believe that she does, and I can't believe. And then all of a sudden you're wrapped into. You're like, well, all right, I am now up Schitt's Creek also.
Yep,
So
I get it.
there you go.
I get it. Well, what are we doing here today? We weren't planning to talk about Andrew Hiller's removal from the CrossFit Games season. We weren't talking about Ellie Turner's decision or CrossFit's decision to not grant Ellie Turner's regional exemption. We are here to talk about our top 4 programmed open workouts of all time. 13 years worth of it. This is year 14 of the CrossFit Open. If you guys aren't signed up, go sign up. I'm signed up. I just got the CrossFit just released the badges, the year badges.
Oh yeah,
How many times you've been in?
yeah. I got to get
I
mine.
just posted mine. 14. This is year 14. Hashtag year 14.
Yep.
One thing we need to do while you guys are here and still listening, hopefully. Ooh, Stefan Reacher. Yeah, I need to get on season 2 of Reacher.
Mm-hmm.
Reacher. Season 1 was good. Alan Rickman, I think that's his name. Speaking of doing testosterone replacement therapy. That's the first time I looked at it. I was like, maybe I will try this. I'll retire from CrossFit and I'll just start looking like that guy.
There you go.
I think my wife would hate it though. She doesn't like that size. My wife wants like Brad Pitt Fight Club body, not
Okay.
Alan Rickman Reacher body. And I was like, that's fair.
Okay.
I would be okay with either one of those.
Yeah, totally.
But
Yeah.
but before we get to our events that we like programmed, I wanted to lay the foundation of because we've had the battle of the best events at the CrossFit Games, but it was more, I would say, very subjective because we brought in atmosphere, moment, we voted on push pull. And if you just looked at the programming, it's very basic.
I still
Handstand push-ups and
did not vote for that one.
You did not.
I did not. I was
Were you
angry
chaos
about that.
or were you first cut the whole time?
I was first cut the whole time.
First cut the whole time.
Whole time.
But that's what I wanted to bring to the table here because I'm going with just pure programming as my judge of the best or top 4 open events ever programmed. What are you looking at?
Yeah, totally. I think that what I'm looking at is pure programming for what the open is supposed to, what I believe the open is supposed to be.
Okay.
And again, what the open is. The open is the casting the largest net, being able to have, not so athletic all the way up to our elite level athletes all being able to compete in the same event. That's what I'm looking at. That I think that has to be for me, that was what I was looking at. It was kind of fun.
It was fun. And I kept writing. I was like, ooh, I like that one. I like that one. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I have 12. How do I get down to 4?
Yeah.
And then I'm sitting there, I was like, gosh, I know. I feel like
we're going to pick at least 2 of the 4 will be the same, I bet.
Yeah. So I think after we pick our 4, maybe we give some runner-ups. Because if half of ours the same, but we'll see. We'll see.
You know what? I honestly think, I don't know.
No?
I think that I don't. Well, I think definitely we'll have to have runner-ups because I think that some of them will be in a camp. It's like here's the grouping. Here's the grouping of like the best ones.
I like where your head's at because I have one that is a favorite of mine programming wise, and as a concept of how to do things the best way to test for a certain thing.
I will say
I think we're already talking about the same thing.
3 of my 4 are about the same way.
Okay. Right. And then I have one where I picked out of 3 or 4 that were very similar in format that I enjoyed the format.
Okay.
Right. But I picked my favorite workout of that format. So maybe we can touch on the other ones of why we think this is a great open test.
Yeah, I think we should give our why. Like, why do we pick it? Why? What do we see? How does it fit? The reasons that it fits. And again, now that plays into what we talk about. It's not just the numbers that are thrown in there, but what's the why? What's the purpose behind this particular event, and why does it fit the way it does, or why do we think that it fits into that particular stage of competition?
And I said open test as referring to what is the event testing for. I just did a podcast with Adrian Bosman that dropped yesterday. If you guys haven't seen that, but I got to sit down with Adrian Bosman on the CrossFit Games podcast, and we talked all things the Open coming up for this year, a little bit of quarterfinals. And if you guys haven't seen it, I hope you go listen to it. Have you listened to it?
No, I was coaching yesterday, but I need to, because you kept teasing me. So I'm like, I want to hear what he says. Like, you're going to be pleasantly surprised. And I'm like, God, I need to find out what it is.
Yes. I just dropped in the chat if you guys are watching with us on YouTube. I know Savon has 4,000 people watching live right now, but we appreciate all of you. But I did throw him a curveball question in the middle of our discussion, and I asked him straight up, are we going tests or events this year?
Oh, God.
And he answered the question.
Okay.
Do you want the answer?
Yeah.
He said events.
Fuck yeah. It's about time.
Yep.
Did you ask him why?
I think he was. I think he heard the noise around the ho hum of the test change and thought it would be best to just remove that from the equation. And I was like, that's a great answer. And I would like to put myself out there. And I straight up said is like, I attributed to that noise. But I'm also so excited to say event record again.
Oh, dude, totally. Yeah, because test record is dumb.
Yeah.
I mean, in that, that's good. What's funny is that, like,
I'm proud of him for accepting the question with grace and answering it and changing. So,
well, yeah, and it's one of those things. It's one of those things where, like, I get it. I see what you're trying to do. It really has no bearing on what is actually happening, other than the fact of, like, it's just an irritant every time you have to say it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And trying to change every single person that talks or broadcasts or has a show that has to say that dumb word, and every time they go, and then at a test, and they roll their eyes.
Right. It's like, don't forget to not say this. I'm like, or we can just go back to the way it was and not have to think about this on a broadcast ever again.
Right.
I did always find it funny, and props to them changing it. Props to Boz listening to that and going back to, if it's not broke kind of a scenario. And I always found the reasoning interesting because it was like, remember in quarterfinals where they programmed 10-foot and 9-foot wall ball targets, but everyone had to do 30 inches on the box.
Right.
You're like, okay, tell me why this. Okay, this answer contradicts this thing. Yep. There wasn't a thing. And if it was, okay, we're going to test because we don't want to confuse people because events are like semifinals and we don't want to confuse the internals of calling each individual workout an event. And I was like, okay, but we say the overall test is to find this. And so we have tests within the test. So it's the same argument, or we could just go back to events and we can all be happy. And so, like I said, I'm very happy we're going back to that. So
yeah.
Bravo. But there's a couple of the gems he put in there. Talking specifically about programming, we've talked on here is programming good training sessions versus complete tests. We talked about that a little bit. So I highly recommend. He talked about floor plans. He talked about equipment lists. He talked about their view and their approach to programming for the open and quarterfinals with 25% taking the test versus 10% taking the overall test. So there was some good stuff in there. Hello, everyone. Trickling in. I don't know if Savon's over yet.
I'm really...
Yes, I have a cold.
I'm excited to see what they put in. I think I'm more excited already because I saw Dave this weekend up at that class, and he said,
Oh, yeah. How
like,
was
dude,
that?
well, he got
All right.
well. Let me tell you this
Finish
first, and then I'll
and
get
then
to that part.
okay.
He was almost giddy about how excited he was about the Open this year. He's like,
Dave.
I'm really excited. Yeah, he was like, I'm really excited about that. Like, the events are going to be like, they're good. They're going to be good.
Ooh,
And I was like, whoa, okay. Okay.
okay.
I was excited to hear that. Well, I mean, I didn't go like, well, were you the one that programmed? I didn't get into all that, but the fact that he was excited about it was very cool. So I thought that was awesome.
That's great. That's cool to hear.
Right.
Well, think about it, like, this is Dave's first Open in 2 years,
Yeah.
right? Dave got fired before the 2022 Open. He was fired in, like, January, like,
Yeah.
right before, and I was like, "Well, there's a way to kill your signups."
It was like a month before.
Genius,
Like that.
Rosa. Genius move. And then he
Totally.
wasn't brought back to the sport team until after semifinals
Yeah,
last
right
year.
before the games.
So,
Yeah.
yeah, I'm excited. And honestly, I think all of my picks are Dave workouts.
Oh yeah, mine are too.
Nothing against
Yeah.
Boss. I looked at him and was like, oh, these are all old school ones. So if Dave is excited, that makes me excited.
Yeah.
Now, you did Dave talked about on his weekend review, he's like a 1.5. You basically is some type of like beta test seminar this weekend?
Yeah. So do you remember the old coaches prep course?
Yes.
Okay, that's basically the idea of this class. So it's a 1-day class the idea is to be set up for people who have their level 1 that want to go and get their level 2. And so instead of it being all of the information, it's what do you do in the level 2? You have to get tested on how you are coaching.
Mm.
And so it's coaching evaluation. So I really had no idea. Wes Pyatt, he's an old athlete of mine. He was a trainer of ours. He opened up at his gym.
Yep.
He's on the seminar staff.
Is that Coast Range CrossFit?
Coast Range CrossFit, yeah. And so he hit me up and I think it was in December actually.
Oh.
He's like, hey, they're going to do a class up here at the gym. I'd love for you to come up. It's like we'll be checking the class out, evaluating it. And I'm like, oh, okay. So I had no idea what it was, honestly, until I even got in there. I just knew it was going to be in a class. I knew we'd be in it. I didn't know if we were
Oh,
taking
wow.
notes.
You were that in the dark.
Yeah, kind of. And I don't think it was intentional. I think it just kind of happened that way. So we get there and Curtis Bowler's there. And I mean, I'm like, dude, I've seen you before, haven't I? And I haven't seen that dude in a while. He does like all of the, he did the medical
Curtis,
stuff
like,
before. Yeah. Yeah. And he's like, oh, I did
OG.
like athlete control. And I'm like, oh yeah, okay, I recognize you. And then I knew he was on seminar staff, but I didn't realize where he was in the seminar staff. He's like one of the original guys.
He, like I
around
said, OG,
forever.
like by definition of that is crazy. He also, I think he had the first CrossFit affiliate outside of CrossFit Santa Cruz.
Yeah.
It was Rainier.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
CrossFit. I think he was actually the first one outside of CrossFit Santa Cruz.
Yeah, and it was crazy. I mean, like it's crazy because he's so nonchalant and mellow, and just talks like this.
There's
He's
no way.
he's just very mellow. No, that won't happen.
No shot.
But it was great. So we get there and we find out that we are taking the class. So we are all being assessed while we're coaching.
Oh,
So
nice.
it was like, oh, and I mean, granted, we all coach, we all do our thing, but if like I mean, you know how it is. I mean, and tell me if this is correct. Is there a difference between when you are doing your level 1 speech as you're doing your breakouts versus what you do in your regular gym when you know everyone that's in there? Ish.
Yes.
Okay. That's what I was nervous about because I'm like, well, shit, I don't teach level 1.
Do we need to do seminar speak?
We got to do CrossFit way or my way.
Yes.
So it was cool. It was great to be able to have the. I mean, it was one of those things where it's like, oh fuck. All right, let me reopen up that part in my head of all the CrossFit terminology. Like I know how to do this stuff, but I mean, you kind of morph it towards your class and as you're doing your daily coaching, and it was great to do that. It was fun getting the feedback. It was fun being in front of everyone. It was fun getting nervous about that again.
Yeah. All right.
It was really cool. And Curtis gave great. I mean, he told us what we did well. He told us like, hey, what do you think about doing this, or why did you pick this thing? And I liked that he did that a lot. It was you had the flexibility of teaching whatever movement we were going to teach. Like one time we did, you had 6 minutes to teach whatever. Then we had like 12 minutes to teach certain things. And then we did like a lightning round. And the lightning round was crazy hard. Mine was, because I like to talk, mine was, I want to be able to coach in one sentence statements. So I have to get people to work in one. I have one sentence.
I like that.
To make people move. And it was really hard, but really fun. So like, I think the one I had to do, the last one I had to do was push jerk.
Ooh.
Today we're going to do the push jerk. It looks like this.
Mm-hmm.
The setup is this. Do that now. And so like you had to pare everything down. It was really cool. For me, it was really cool.
Actionable cues.
Yep.
Cool.
So it was super fun. Yeah, dude, it was really, really fun. We had a small group. I think we had 8 in the class.
Wow.
So you got a lot of good feedback. You weren't in a big group where you get lost in the crowd, and it wasn't so small, and it was all about positive feedback. It was, we want to make it so when you get to your level 2, you're going to crush your level 2. It was awesome.
Okay.
It was really fun.
I like it.
Yeah.
I like it. That'd be fun. You know, I took the coach's prep course.
Did you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And at that, it was Nicole Christensen, Eric Preston, and Mr. Adrian Bosman were my trainers.
Yeah.
And I got
did you do that? Did you do that before you did your level 2, or did you do that?
I did that as my level 2. Well, I did that as my level 2 because the coach's prep course just changed names.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Got it.
Changed format. It just went coach's prep course. Like, no, we're going to do a level 2 because the level 3 just came out.
Yeah.
I had my coach's prep course. They just called it level 2, and then I took my level 3 versus the old level 2, which they got rid of. But if you took it back in the day, then you were automatically level 4 this year. And, things have changed.
Things have
changed. That's cool. Awesome. I'm glad you're part of that. Well, all right. If you guys are just joining us, we're going to go through our top 4 programmed open events over the last 13 years. This is our Mount Rush Moments episode. And I don't remember the button. I'm just going to start pressing buttons. And I'm going to hope that this is the right one.
Oh, yeah. Oh, nice job.
Thank you. It's been a while.
Is that a look at the one that had all the dust on it?
It's been a while. Yeah. I was like, which is the one I haven't pressed in about 6.5 months?
Right.
We'll go with that one. All right. In no particular order. This will be you go, I go format. I'll pick one. Bill, pick one. Bill, I'm just going to go first because I'm assuming we had the same one. I believe it's one we've talked about extensively. And I'm going to go with 16.2. 16.2. Yes?
Oh, yeah.
Is that on? Yeah, okay. I figured this was the easiest one. If anybody has listened to this show, coming up on 4 years, by the way.
Yeah, I know.
March. If anybody's listened to the show regularly or on intermittently over the last 4 years, I think Bill and I have said, like, this is the single best format and most complete test to predict performance at the CrossFit Games the Open has ever had. And that is the 4-minute running clock, 25 toes to bar, 50 double unders, 15 squat cleans, 135 and 85. If you get there, you get another 4 minutes. 25, 50, 13 cleans at 185 and 115.
Weird weights.
Weird weights. Yep. I'm like, oh, okay. Another 4 minutes, 25, 50, 11 at 225 and 145. Another 4 minutes. You get 25, 50, 9 squat cleans at 275, which was a hell of a jump. back in the day, still is, and 175. And then you get another final 4 minutes to complete 25 toes to bar, 50 double unders, 7 squat cleans at 315 and 205. They repeated this in 2019, which was 19.2. So they've already done it twice. This was actually
3 times. It was actually
qualifier, right? Once. So they repeated this multiple times, and we're not saying they should do it again. But if you want to test strength in the open with high volume skill and gymnastics from a monostructural standpoint, this is the best format they have ever created to basically test a wide open field and demographic of athletes from novice to experience, and just take this and just change the weightlifting movement. Hell, change the gymnastics movement or like whatever it is, right? But it's a weightlifting monostructural gymnastics, earn as you go, gets heavier as we start, like from the start on the weightlifting. Like this format for programming is, I would say it's hands down the best for testing strength in the open, but hands down one of the best program formats they have ever had in 13 years.
Oh man, it's so solid. And again, this is the epitome of letting everybody play on the same court. So you have people that are not as strong, not as good, but they have 20 minutes to try to hang in there and get their toes to bar, work on the double unders, get some squat cleans. And you have on the complete opposite end of the spectrum, your best of the best of the best that are hammering through all the gymnastics and the double unders. And then you really get to see some heavy squat cleans, like 315, 205 squat clean.
Bro.
Like shit, man.
Bro.
Like that's nuts. That's nuts. So I like that they have that large, that they're able to pull in such a large demographic based on those weights alone. And you're right. It is the model for, I think, for open workouts. The model and because like other than this, like we've talked, God, till we're blue in the face about how inappropriate it is to have a max weight lift in this stage. It makes no sense. It's weighted incorrectly. It doesn't allow people to do what we need to do. It puts people in the wrong place. But here you have everything, and it should be very CrossFit-y. So you have weightlifting, gymnastics, and monostructural. We have that. It's so nice. This was I wrote it down. I'm like, well, we don't even need to say it.
That's going to
be able to. It's going to have that on there, but.
A couple questions in here. One is, I suppose this is the concept for 23.3, as Kritis was saying, is like, yes, in a sense, but executed, I would say, poorly.
Yeah.
And then Keymaster said, and he's 100% spot on, or he or she, this repeat, when they repeated it in 19, is the first 2 segments, they actually gave you 8 minutes.
Yeah.
And I'm in agreement with him, as I actually liked that format better, because it allowed people to have more time to get through the first part, where a lot of people were getting capped at 4 minutes just because of the fit. Honestly, because 25 toes to bar for a novice athlete is a lot, right? People are getting their first toes to bar because it starts with that. If you're not good at double unders and squat cleans at 135 and 85 for 15, it's not easy. Yeah, and to do all that in 4 minutes, people are getting capped at 4 minutes. So I did really like, as Keymaster was saying, I did like that they pushed it to 8 minutes on the repeat.
Yeah, we actually just did this one in the gym, a version of it, and I took the time caps out, and I just made it a 20-minute clock, so it allowed everyone to work. And the next thing I did was I forced everyone to do sit-ups rather than toes to bar, because I wanted it to be more of a clean workout than a toes to bar workout for some of the different athletes. So I just completely removed that out. And it was really fun. It still got the same feel for sure. It allowed the athletes that maybe didn't necessarily have the capacity to get the toes to bar, or even if they were going to do a scaled version of that, it pushed them into the cleans a little bit more. It was really fun.
Sorry, Brian. Really yeah, you just missed us. You just missed us talking about the regional exemptions.
He thinks he's going to make the rounds on all the podcasts right now, talking about things. Let me pull out my rule book real quick. Let me pull it out. Really?
But actually, that was a great discussion between him and Savon on the show.
Awesome. It was awesome.
Yeah, just in good points on both ways. I did that. Okay, so are we in agreement?
Yep.
That's 1-1. Okay,
Yep.
we may time this one too, and don't worry, these will get better as these go on, folks. My second one is something we repeated last year. Is this one of yours as well? I knew it.
I knew it.
I knew we were going to do these two. This is why I'm doing these two first, because then I think we may divide and conquer after this. But it's 14-4, which became 24.1, and it's complete as many rounds as possible in 14 minutes, 60-calorie row, 50 toes to bar, 40 wall ball shots, 20 and 14 to a 10 and 9-foot target, 30 cleans, power squat, either way at 135 and 95. All right, so we got that one. And then 20 ring muscle ups. I love chippers personally. I love putting a chipper in the open. So when I think about format wise, I really, really, really enjoy this. But at the same time, this is such a great workout for the open because it starts on the row, which everybody can do for 60 cals. You move to 50 toes to bar. So those that have the capacity and volume training, they can move on to the next one, or you're grinding through this for a few minutes, right? Then you move to the wall ball shot. It's only 40, but 40 wall ball shots never felt so hard. It's at 55 wall ball shots never felt so hard, but that's a different chipper. And then you get to the barbell. 30 cleans at 135 and 95. It's grace weight. It's grace reps without the jerks. And then, and only then, if you have the fitness to earn the right to touch the rings, you have an opportunity to separate yourself from the field by doing ring muscle ups. I absolutely love this workout.
Yeah, it was fun to do. It was fun. You can kind of, as an affiliate owner, you can kind of gauge what the event is based on the excitement you have in all of your members, not just your best members, not the ones that go, okay, we got the ring muscle ups coming in.
Ooh, that's a
but
good.
all of the ones that they're like, oh, I can do, okay, cool, I can do that. Okay,
Or it's like, maybe I can do that.
I mean, do you remember when? And I don't remember which, because I didn't put this one first in my list at all. But where it started with the ring muscle ups, and you're like, well, shit.
Okay, yeah. So I put that on my list. I wrote it down. I wasn't going to pick it for reasons because we're also talking about appropriate programming for the open.
Right.
Which when you start with ring muscle ups, it is absolutely not appropriate to put in the open. Right? Like, welcome to the open. Just sit there for the next 15 minutes and watch me do ring muscle ups. But I as far as workouts go, I love that workout.
No, the pieces are great. Why?
Yeah.
Because we can do ring muscle ups.
Because
so we actually got to do it. But think of look at your members as your affiliate owner. All right, guys, this is what we get to do today. You announce this one, and everyone's like, oh, sweet, okay, cool. Yeah, the toes to bar, I can do those in singles, so I can chip myself away. Whereas muscle ups come up, and it's like this. Fuck you.
Right.
That's what. Fuck. Can I get my money back?
Yeah.
You know, it's not that it isn't a good workout. It is a good workout, but it's not appropriate for what we're trying to do. This one is, and even though I think that you still get a lot of people that get. I like that they do usually on here they have the time cap for when you get through the cleans also, so that you can have people that will race to
as the
because you'll have people you'll get people that'll get stuck on 1 or 2 muscle ups, or they get to a certain point and then they have 5 minutes to work, or whatever the time is, to work on that last one, and you're gonna have a lot of people that are stuck in there. So I love that I mean, we talked about how an event has to be really thought about, not just those are cool numbers, those are cool movements,
right?
But where is it going to go, and how's it going to hit, and how are you going to be able to separate the largest field that's coming in? It's not 30 people, it's not 10,000 people, it's 150, 275,000, it's whatever. So you have to be able to really. And this one was just very intelligently programmed, which was super great.
Super great. And to that extent is how we're excited to do this. It's cool to get to the challenge. Corey is talking about here is like, I got to the ring muscles, but I couldn't do them, but now I can. Janelle got 2. They said, we have it up. Brock said he got 3. What really was disappointing for me was seeing people complain about this workout because they didn't have ring muscle ups, as if that's inappropriate. Right. And I'm like, first of all, you're discrediting everything it's going to take for you to get there. I would say 99% of the people bitching about muscle ups wouldn't even get through the cleans to begin with.
Right.
You're not even getting there. And if you can get to the rings with any time left, say 2 minutes or 3 minutes, you have the physical capacity, skill set, endurance. You should probably be able to do one.
Yeah.
Right. So why aren't we able to do one? And of course you should, like nobody cares like, oh, well, I got to a weight I couldn't lift, so this workout sucks, because that's the way I personally feel about it. Or it's like, hey, oh, wow, I just hit a wall. And whether it's a ring muscle up gymnastic skill or a handstand push-up, okay, great. Maybe I should learn how to do that. Now, we're not saying putting the ring muscle up first. Different story, right? Totally different things. Or I got through, say, 16.2, as we were saying earlier, and I got to the 275-pound bar and I couldn't clean it. That jump is too big for me. It's like, all right, well, let's figure out why. These are tests.
Right.
These are they are testing your ability to be strong under fatigue, or for both weightlifting and gymnastics.
Yeah.
Your technique under fatigue. Like, there should be something out of your reach, else why even program it?
Right. The object is not to have for lack of a better word, 7 minutes of burpees.
Yeah.
Where everyone can go fall down and get back up again. Like that's great. But like, that's not fun though either. And what's great about the two events that we've talked about and the format is starting with a level that is, I don't want to say easy, but it's a competition level. It's doable.
Mm-hmm.
And it increases in either technique, skill level, or weight, or intensity towards the end. Those are the ones that are the best. Like when you have the ability to filter and start to narrow that field through the workout itself, that's when it's fun. That's when you know that you've actually thought about, and it's crazy because you can see the mindset behind all of that. And it's gearing the event towards what you're trying to do. We're trying to get a certain number out of this field into the next field. And even though, we have talked about how we aren't really in the competition stage for this because of the 25% that's moving on from here to the quarterfinals, that it is the fitness festival, but you still want to be able to have something challenging at the end. Why do they always put the biggest obstacle at the end on a Spartan race or anything like that? Because it's the end. You want something to kind of shoot for and get through. And so I really like that they have it set up that way.
Why do you get electrocuted at the end?
All right. I never did those.
Well, I like what you said about fun too, because all right. So you don't like that we program muscle ups because you can't do them. You probably won't get to them either, but you want to complain about that being too hard for people to run. All right. Well, then 7 minutes of burpees will accomplish that task as well. Does that sound like fun for you? Or do you want to actually challenge yourself with the multiple different movements and modalities to see where your fitness level is at?
Right.
I think fun should 100% be a massive element of the Open.
Yeah, totally.
And fun is different than in everybody's eyes, right? It's relative like intensity. Mm-hmm. But I have fun being challenged to my physical skill set. I have fun with workouts or events that I can do either exceptionally well or will be an exceptional challenge. Like, those things are fun for me. And if you sign up, no one's forcing you, you sign up to do an event or a competition, there's an element that should be out of your reach, and it is for everybody. For some people, it could be a weight. For others, it could be a skill. For others, it could be a number of reps done in a certain amount of time frame. And for the elite, it's the thing out of reach is how hard can I push and how far can I go relative to the other elites in my field.
Right.
And I think that's okay. And that is okay, period. It's okay to have things that are not 100% within your wheelhouse. What? I don't like when Chase looks directly in my eyes. All right, so we're 2 for 2.
2 for 2.
Okay, I think I'm going to stray away from you on this one.
All right, we'll see.
One reason, because one of the movements that are programmed in there. The other is that there are multiple instances of this that I can look at and nod a cap to. And I'm going to go AMRAP, which most of them are, but I'm going to go long. Shocker. And I'm going to go with 20.2. And that is AMRAP in 20 minutes, 4 dumbbell thrusters at 50 and 35 pounds, 6 toes to bar, 24 double unders. And what I see here is I'm a sucker for a WMG triplet, man. I am just a freaking, you just scratch my CrossFit pleasure button with a monostructural, that might be a little too much information, but with a monostructural weightlifting element, you go 20 minutes. Yes, please. Short sets, lots of rotations. Love it. 4 dumbbell thrusters, no problem. Can do. Thank you for 4. 6 would suck. 6 toes to bar, even better. 24 double unders of break time, love it. Cycle through it like 20 minutes of Cindy-ish open stuff. I love this. And I had to decide between a few other 20-minuters that were in the same format. Just cycling reps for 20 minutes, trying to get max rounds. I think 18-1 was in that vein. And I want to say 16-1 was also in that vein. I am taking out, especially with 16-1, ease of execution. 16-1 was the 20 minutes of overhead lunges, bar facing burpees, overhead lunges, and chest to bar pull-ups. Yep. I think that is a fantastic open workout. Nearly impossible to run inside an affiliate. Like we struggle bus there. But I love this 20-minute one. Cycling through like Cindy. It's a classic CrossFit style of workout. Weightlifting, monostructural gymnastics, short sets, churn and burn for 20 minutes. I love this one.
I did not pick this one, but I was kind of thinking the same vein though.
Okay.
I wanted something that was long and grindy because I think it's important to have those in the open. It allows, especially when you have a long cap of movements that you know that people can do generally, it's going to keep you busy. And I think that very shallowly, when someone is really sweaty and they're breathing really hard, that automatically is like, oh man, I got a great workout on that one.
Yeah.
You know, that's like, you know, that's why everyone in like the red hypothesis, they wear like that chest little thing so that they can see what their heart rate is. Cause like, well, my heart rate is up and I was breathing hard. So obviously I got a good workout.
So fat burning zone. Is that
I'm in the orange zone. All right. The one I'm going to pick is 13. Was it 13.1?
What is it?
And then it was repeated 21.2. 10 dumbbell snatches, 15 burpee box jump overs, 20 dumbbell snatches, 15 burpee box jump overs, and it goes up to 50 dumbbell snatches and 15 burpee box jump overs with a 20-minute cap. It was 13. It was either 1 or 2. I think.
I don't know. It was 13. No, it wasn't 13. Dumbbell snatches and box jump overs. I'm going to say maybe 16. I'll find it for you.
I did that. That was Vellner.
You did that announcement.
Yeah, it was Vellner and Fikowski.
Yep.
I know that they repeated. I know they repeated 21.2.
14. I know shy about.
Continue. But yeah, what I loved about that one was, again, it was the weights weren't extreme, but it set everyone on, like, you just had to get into it. Back and forth on the dumbbells, back and forth on the dumbbells. Everyone can do a burpee. Then you had the box jump. And obviously, the better athlete you were, the faster you were going to go on there. And it's all about that transition speed. But it was one that when I looked across at my gym members of all the different levels that we had, everyone had that nervous smile.
Yep.
17.1.
Okay. Thank you guys.
Yep. Good job, you guys.
I was thinking because I did this in my first gym, but that was the year I moved gyms.
Oh yeah.
This season, so I had done the open, and I was like,
we were in our new location. Well, our current location. Yeah. It was like, yeah.
All right, 17-1. Yes, thank you, team. Thank you.
I just loved how it was a nice increasing, which is always a mind fuck for people. Whenever you start, you get through the first 2 runs, you're like, dude, I'm doing great. And you look up and you're like, okay, I'm deep into the 30s right now.
Yeah.
Time is super slow. There's a lot of mental fortitude and a lot of thinking that goes on during this because it's not technical movements, but allows you to sit there and kind of really assess where you are. So there's a lot of things that I just personally like as a coach. but I think it's a great race as well. So it's a great training tool to use as a class workout. It is a great event for new people to kind of see how they can push through something, and it's a perfect race for something like this with the Open, where you can get a lot in there, and how the more elite you are, it's going to come down to how fast you can do those burpee box jump overs, because
Yep.
how are you landing on top of the burpee box jump overs? How are you, where are your feet being placed on your dumbbell snatches? How wide do you want to go? Are you going to try to minimize that height, that you are, whether you're a 6'2" person or a 5'6" person?
Yeah. Dude,
It's
this one messed
really
me
fun
up
to me.
so bad.
Yeah.
Like this, I'm trying to think of like soreness. This is probably top post Open soreness, along with
a lot of hinges.
actually one that really surprised me was the bar facing burpee thruster one.
Oh, dude.
21, 18, 15, all the way down, that he ended up doing twice. Like my triceps from that, because of the thruster, it was 14.5.
Yeah. Well, I remember you doing that. You did that at HQ that one time.
Yeah, we did that at HQ together.
In fact, you picked out that was like where you picked it to the second.
I did.
You're like, okay, I'm going to take this. It's going to be this long on these reps, and it's going to take this long on this one. And you picked it to the fucking second, dude.
Yes.
Like I was counting at time, and I'm like, and I'm like, you've got to be fucking shitting me right now.
Yeah, because we were doing this. Was it a broadcast boot camp we were doing?
Yeah.
You had just done 14.5, and so we were all in Santa Cruz. So then we went to Scottsdale. Sorry, Scotts Valley, where CrossFit HQ was. And I write down the events and the reps in the seconds I think it'll take, and my transition times. And I had it all written on the scratch piece of paper. And so when we finished, she told me the time, and I was laughing. I was like, go look at my notebook. To the second.
To the second.
But yeah, my hamstrings and low back from 17.1. Holy hell.
I had a buddy that got rhabdo in his triceps doing the thruster burpee one.
Oh, really? I believe it, man. I could not believe how sore my triceps were from that.
Yeah.
Could not believe it. All right, so I like this one. This was one that I wrote down. I was like, as far as open workouts are concerned, great. Very low bar to entry. The rising of the dumbbell snatches, dude. That round of 40 was the most I would, because I would just sit there in the suck thinking to myself, I was like, you get to 30 and you're like, and then you hit 40, it's like, I have to come back here.
Yeah.
I have to come back.
This spot
and do
plus
10 more.
Yeah.
That's all I would do. I'd do 20 and realize like I'd do 30 and I gotta do 40 after. I gotta do 50 after this.
See that thinking? That's what I loved about this workout.
Okay.
It's so non-technical, but it's long and grindy. So you now, instead of being like, oh, this is so hard, now you're thinking about that right there. It's all inside your head for that time frame.
Yeah.
And it's just it's really, there's a lot of fun levels to that one for me. I really like it.
I like that. All right, last one. So my last pick was categorically a 20-minute AMRAP of small increments of movements and cycle through. We picked the strength chipper style ascending weight one. We picked the chipper style test as well as that. My last one is I'm going back to something I think we've been missing a little bit in the Open. Mm-hmm. And the category is just called yuck. And I can't think of a more yuck open workout than 15.5.
Oh, man, dude.
27, 21, 15, 9, row cal and thrusters at 95 and 65. You've got a leg drive hip extension pull on the rower. Then you have a leg drive hip extension press with the barbell. There was nothing too hard. There was nothing out of reach. And this was absolutely physically devastating. And this is the essence of the Open. It is how hard are you willing to work to get what you want? How much are you willing to sit there in the suck to get what you want? And sometimes people say this much, and then sometimes people say, no, thank you. Jess just said it. I'm out. I don't blame you. I don't blame you. But I look at this one, a same in line with things like 17.5, the thrusters and double unders one, and 11.3, the AMRAP of squat clean and shoulder to overheads, 2011. Like, it just, I'm sorry, guys, but we got to bring this back. This is the essence of the Open. Because you can pussyfoot your way through this all you want. Like, I'm going to row slow and I'm going to break up my thrust. That's fine. You can do that. You're not going to get what you want unless you just don't want to hurt. Then I'd say you're in the wrong sport. You walked in the wrong gym. I saw someone get a drink of water on the rower during this one time during the
What?
Open. And my head almost exploded. But the old yuck 5 to 7 minute pain train. And it's not stupid, right? This isn't 27, 21, 15, 9 thrusters and chest to bar pull-ups from 2020, right? It's not that bullshit. This is just classic weightlifting, monostructural, opposing movement patterns with some redundancy, back and forth, see at the end. And then I'll see you for 30 minutes rolling around on the floor when you're done.
So this one is, for me, of all of the workouts that I have done in the Open, all of them, this will be my 14th year too. I have never hurt worse for longer than this event. And I did this one. This
Really?
one, I think, yeah.
I believe it.
I have never had leg cramps that would not go away like this one. Like, I came off the rower, or I came off the thrusters, and I'm sitting on the ground. And for the first 3 minutes, like, I was like breathing hard, all that kind of stuff for the first 3 minutes. Then I couldn't get off the ground for 15 minutes.
Bro.
And I could not. I was like rolling on the ground, legs curled up, shaking them, trying to like flex them, curling up in a ball, anything to make it. It could not get it to go away. And I think your comment was perfect. I went around and around and around. I had this one on here and I had it circled.
Yep.
Because it's, when you talk about functional movements done at high intensity.
Yep.
This is, I think, the essence of what we're doing. We know that high intensity is driven from, they talk, why is Fran the way Fran is? Because of the thrusters.
This event alone made me not afraid of Fran.
Dude, Fran is nothing compared to this.
Nothing compared to this.
Like, if I'll get done with Fran before I start hurting like I did on this one.
Which I think is the best part, because like Fran 2159 thrusters and pull-ups, it's the same weight, it's 27 more reps.
Totally. Yeah.
Here there's no skirting around skills, right?
No.
Oh, chin over bar butterfly pull-ups. I'm done with 21 pull-ups in 21 seconds. No, you got to sit there and look at that damn rower for 27 cows, knowing you have 21 to come.
Yeah.
It's the same thing, right?
Nowhere to hide.
And you're like, God dang it, I have to come back to this on the next one.
Right. The faster you go, the worse it's going to be when you're coming up. So like, there's nowhere to hide. Your reward is that you get to go faster on a weight or faster on the row, whatever. I was looking at the, I'm going to pick this one because I had this one, but I was going around.
We went 3 for 3, 3 out of 4. Sorry, guys.
I had the, originally I was going to look at the squat, clean and jerk. I really liked what that was. It was short.
I know you like it.
And even though I really liked that one, the reason I didn't pick it officially was because I just thought the weight for the Open was a little too much for part of the field. I don't think I wouldn't have liked it to be lower. It needed to be that weight to get your stronger athletes to be able to get a good workout, but I don't want someone going and like not being able to clean it. That's what I like about the 95 on the thruster here. Everyone can do that.
Yep.
I like the burpee and the snatch, the increasing burpee and the snatch weight. Very similar to the
13-1.
Yeah.
13-1, also a great format.
But we, as we're looking at this, like, I already have that one. I mean, but I think that those are important because it shows the strength, allows everyone to play on the lightweights. It allows the stronger athletes to get going on the end, and you got to earn the strength at the end. But you need to have we have the long blast. Like I picked the long blaster with the dumbbells, the dumbbell snatch and the burpee box jump over, but you need a blasting,
Yep.
all out, full sprint, full send. What's crazy about that event is it will either be the absolute worst workout you've ever done your entire life or a fucking warm-up set.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, really? So it's like
So
when
hard.
you have that,
Right.
then you know that now you officially know everyone can play. And I think that was one that didn't have a time frame on it either. Did I have a time frame? I don't think it did.
The thruster bar facing burpee one was the first time we didn't have a time cap because it was for time. Is the first for time one, 14.5.
But this one didn't. The rower one didn't, did it? You had to finish it, didn't you?
I don't know. Actually, I can. Oh, I should look. I have it up right in front of me. 15.5. I don't see a time cap.
Yeah.
Scorecard.
That's what's great about it.
Yep. Movement standards. Maybe. I don't see one.
I'm pretty sure it was open.
Yeah. Oh.
So that right there, everyone can play.
Yeah.
And it's a perfect event where everyone can get on.
Yeah, because it just has time on the scorecard.
Yep. It's awesome.
Yep. Draw your dagger at the end, which we are very close to because Bill's got to coach his class.
Yeah.
Pick 3 existing open workouts to comprise this year's open. What would they be? We actually did a podcast with Talking Elite Fitness on this.
Yeah. And honestly, we pretty much could have just done that just now.
True. Well, what we did is we made sure that we didn't pick any workouts that had already been repeated.
Oh, that was right.
Which was very tough.
Yeah.
But if I say off the top of my head, I think we said 13-1 bar facing burpees and snatches. I think I also put in the 18-1, which is the AMRAP in 20 minutes of toes to bar, hang dumbbells, shoulder overhead, and rowing.
The rowing.
And then I think I put in 11-5 as the finisher with the squat clean thrusters. So you got the ascending weight, you've got the 20-minuter, and then you got the blast furnace. So how's that for 60 seconds off the top of our head?
Totally.
Using no repeats that have already been repeated. That's too easy.
Yeah.
So,
but like, I mean, what's great about all the ones that we picked is there's a why to all of them. It's not because it's hard. It's because of how it will play in a field of the largest net you're throwing out there to the community.
Right.
You know, and especially now, you know, it used to be the 10% would move on, or it would qualify you to the regionals way back in the day. And even though now it's 25% move on, and this is the fitness festival, this is the fitness fun run for everyone. You still want it to. We're CrossFitters, man. It's got to sting a little bit, and that's okay.
Yeah, right.
You know, we like doing hard things. It's all right. So,
and you can choose not to.
Right. Yeah.
Poor choice. He chose poorly.
All
right. Thank you guys for joining us. Hope you guys like that. Drop your top 4 in the comments, either on YouTube, on our Instagram. When we post this up, you guys can follow us at Give It the Programming. You can also support the show more than you already do. Support us on Patreon if you can, and if you choose to. We give you guys a workout of the week, as well as post CrossFit Journal articles that we go through on the show that is marked up by us, so you can have in your files. Speaking of, we have our second CrossFit Journal episode tomorrow, same time, 12:30, and it is simply called The Push-Up.
Can't wait.
The long lost art of the push-up. We'll see you guys tomorrow, 12:30 Central Time. CrossFit Journal coming back.